Hi, everyone, and thanks for joining me at the Lily Pad. Today's energies have been, I think, a little erratic, and I thought we could check in with our mythology oracle deck and the Akashic records, and we'll follow that up with a little tarot reading here to find out what's causing all this agitation. What's causing all the agitation? Is it a person? Is it a situation? Here we go. Mythology. What do we have? Oh. This is a scene of, let me see. Oh, there we go. This is the scene between Menelaus and Paris during the Trojan War, where it's like, I think it's halfway through the war, where everyone agrees that enough blood has been spilt and that really this is Paris's war. And you remember, Paris is the one that stole Helen. He fell in love with Menelaus' wife Helen, and he stole her and brought her back to Troy. And so the huge war ensues, the Trojan War. Most of us have heard about that, I hope. Anyway, and at some point, a deal is brokered, and it's agreed that, instead of having these armies continue to battle this out, that these two heroes will go head to head. It's a duel. And on the appointed day, backing up for just a second. So Paris is known for being this wonderful, beautiful, well-liked man. But he's not known for his skills for his success on the battlefield. Not that he's considered. Anyway, Menelaus, on the other hand, is considered, a leader and a warrior above others, and so everybody's looking at this duel, this idea of this duel, and thinking, "Oh my God, Paris is going to die. There's no way." And Paris knows that there's no way that he's going to be able to beat Menelaus on, man-on-man combat, whatever that is, head-to-head, whatever that expression is. So what happens is, in the very last minute, there's this scuffle, this whirl. They both show up, and there's this whirl of dust, and Paris disappeared because the goddess Aphrodite, I believe, but it may have been Athena, but one of the goddesses abducts him, and brings him to a place of safety. And so she removes him from the battlefield. And when the dust settles, everybody's looking around, and Menelaus is there and realizes that Paris isn't there. And so everyone feels, Paris broke his deal, and the war proceeds. And this card is really about, it's like a false truce, where maybe you believe that you've come to an agreement, or that peace is at hand, and it's not. Any number of things can happen from here, but just know that that's a false sense of peace. I was going to say a false sense of security, but it's a false sense of peace. So, in the meantime, let's have a check-in with the Akashic records. That makes a lot of sense. That would definitely be causing agitation. Two of them fell out. Okay, well, we'll take both of them. So the first one that came out here is the Ark of the Covenant. Can you see that? And it's in reverse. And so this card has to do with soul contracts, but it's more like, not only is it between you and others, but really more specifically, it's related to your purpose for reincarnating. And it's like your greatest purpose for being here. And sometimes that has to do with other people, and sometimes it's whatever. It's because you're supposed to plant a garden, and we don't know. We don't always know. It's not always grand things, but anyway, in reverse, when the Ark of the Covenant comes up, it means that you have lost sight of your purpose. And well, okay, there's another element to this card, or another energy to this card, and that's this. There's this sacredness to this understanding of purpose. In other words, it's not as if your purpose is just to be a great mom and show up every day. And it's more like this awareness that what you do sets the tone. And so the way that you go about achieving or living out your purpose, um, is very self-honoring, and it also is it's sacred. There's a sacred energy to it. So when it's in reverse, it's like something has happened that has caused you to it's not really like fall off your path, but it's like you've disregarded your purpose in some way. Almost in a way, it reminds me of Paris disappearing here, being rescued by the gods. So this card is saying, okay, you can run if you want to, but they certainly won't look the other way while you do. So you'll continue to be called back until you return, until you remember, until you get yourself back on track. Okay, the other card that fell out is Hilarion, which is an ascended master about truth and investigation. And so Hilarion is considered one of the ascended masters that oversees, or I don't want to say guards, but in a way, he oversees the Akashic records. And so this is a great spiritual teacher who wants to assist in your investigation. He wants to, or I say he, but this spirit wants to assist your process of uncovering truth and living truth. So the fact that it would come with the Ark of the Covenant in reverse tells me that Hilarion is really calling you to return to your truth, to remember your truth, and to flip this back. Okay. Now, there's something about this battle between Menelaus and Paris, and the way I understand it, I love Greek mythology, and the way I understand it, some people, there are kind of two categories here. Some people see this moment as a moment where Paris is a coward and he has to be protected like a child. He's whisked away for his own protection, and he hides behind the coat skirts of others, right? He hides behind his brother. If y'all are familiar with the story of the Trojan War, he hides behind Hector. He's stolen someone else's wife. Sorry about that. My video stopped. I'm not really sure what that was about. Anyway, getting back to Paris, he does a lot of hiding behind others. And so even in this moment, he skirts away. And the result is that, thousands of men, or however many troops there are, but all of these innocents, all of these men will now have to return to battle to fight on his behalf because he stole someone else's wife. And so there's that there's some people that look at this story clip, as being about cowardice and hiding and having other people, the luxury, what's the word I'm looking for? The luxury, the privilege that Paris lives with to hide and enjoy his romance while other people fight his battle. And then the other meaning about this, though, has a lot to do with how some people believe that the gods saved Paris in this moment because Paris's duty was to usher in a new age in humankind, an age that valued love and beauty, which is what Helen stood for, but valued love above war, above battle, above I don't know, brutality. I don't want to say brutality, but in other words, Paris was rescued because his duty was to something greater. And so sometimes the hand of fate will step in on our behalf because we have a higher purpose, and other people might not understand that. And other people might think this logically means this, or this logically means that. But really, from a higher perspective, the gods knew that Paris's work was to usher in this new period for humankind, for mankind, a period about achieving the highest octave of love. It's really what it's about. And so I just wanted to mention that because having the Ark of the Covenant suggests to me that that part of the disquiet or the agitation and the energy right now has to do with what is your purpose right now? And it's possible. I think there are two things that are possible here. It's possible that there is a higher truth that is guiding this situation, or the experience that you're having at this moment, whatever it is that is kind of gnawing at you or contributing to this sense of agitation. There is a greater purpose for this, and the purpose of this has to do with your higher contract, like your soul's purpose here. And while what's happening, around you, or maybe the war, the little wars, the aggravations, the issues that you're navigating, it's possible that they don't make a lot of sense, or that it's very clear for you or easy for you to say, well, this is right and this is wrong. But perhaps this isn't about right and wrong. And so if you can suspend judgment for a moment and suspend logic for a moment, take a step back and remember that the truth goes deeper. Hilarion also says, that the truth goes deep into the records. And so perhaps there's a higher truth here. Perhaps there's a higher calling. Perhaps there is an element of reestablishing a connection with love. Okay, so now I'm gonna, here we go, talking. Tarot cards, here we come. Spirit, please give us some information about what's this agitation. First card down, 3 of Swords. Oh, beautiful. Queen of Swords, Page of Pentacles in reverse, and the Knight of Pentacles in reverse. So interesting. Okay. Okay, so first we're going to start with the Three of Swords and the Queen of Swords. Queen of Swords. Now, I think most of us are familiar with Three of Swords. It's one of the cards. I would say it's the card that I least want to see because on the entry level, this talks about heartbreak and sorrow and pain, like pain inflicted on your heart. However, this reading has already asked us to step back and to take a higher perspective on this. It's saying, like, don't go in at the entry level here. Looks are deceiving. We want you to almost like look at this from the 5D level here. So from your soul perspective rather than from like don't look at the obvious signs around you. And in that case, the Three of Swords suggests there's definitely this like pain inflicted on the heart, but the pain comes from having a third belief or because swords are mental and they're about our beliefs or our convictions or our mental strategies, our truths, but having a third one introduced that seems to throw everything off. It's like it, and it pierces the heart, but in a way it's like it pierces a paradigm and it causes this pain, and at the same time it has this potential to really like to stabilize and I like to think of it to stabilize and activate the heart. Is like activate is really maybe a good way of putting it. I like to think of the Three of Swords in the same way as a three-legged stool, right? You can have we think of two as being this like very balanced, something that's very balanced, and we think of two people in a love relationship, and then if a third party enters, right, third party, then everything becomes destabilized. But a third party could be a therapist, and that therapist could and in fact, let's talk about this being a therapist because it's a great example. A therapist could introduce that couple to ideas that could really destabilize the couple. And then as they navigate that, it makes them stronger. And so in effect, the introduction of the third sword that introduces another belief or another truth, that third sword can actually create this very stable tripod, the other thing about so in the end, when you think of a stool that has two legs versus a stool that has three of course is much more stable and is can support a lot more weight. And so I think that what this is really is about is having a third truth brought into the heart that's a painful experience. However, it's a painful experience as you learn to reconcile that truth with your black and white perspective. In other words, this is like I said it a second ago that this reading is really asking us to take a step back and to look at things from a higher perspective. And this card, yeah, okay, put simply, the Three of Swords here, this isn't about heartbreak. This is about learning to see things that are happening in your everyday life, learning to see them through a higher truth, through a higher perspective, which it can be painful at times because, for one, we're in the habit of seeing things seeing things as right or wrong or black or white, and so there is an adjustment, and the pain actually comes not from the treachery or the sorrow or the attacks of others, or the pain comes because it's hard to let go of things that we feel allow us to make sense of the world. It's hard sometimes to release our definitions, but really the healing comes when we learn to recognize this release as the word escapes me, but we're relinquishing our beliefs not at a loss, but in order that we may increase our capacity, simply put. Okay, so the next card, that's the Three of Swords. The next card we have here is about the Queen of Swords. Now, the Queen of Swords definitely is interested in truth. And she has the butterfly as one of the, well, in some decks, the butterfly adorns her throne and adorns her crown. And the butterfly is a very common symbol for transformation. And, the chrysalis turns into the butterfly. There's also something about the butterfly and the delicacy of the butterfly's wings, and whereas we have the very sharp sword of truth. And so it suggests here that, and there's a symmetry in the butterfly as well. And so there's a lot of symbolism to this archetype around, a delicate balance and an emerging transformation, and how and also this idea around the power of the truth being very delicate and sharp and producing the transformation. And so the Queen of Swords is asking us here, this deck is really saying, it's calling on us. A request is being made. This is what I sense, that a request is being made. We are being asked to withhold judgment at this moment and to recognize that this third truth that is being introduced at this moment is being introduced gently, carefully, and powerfully in order to expand our understanding, our power, and to transform us into something higher, greater. The transformation is always liberating, freedom. It's more, which is what we all want. So that's what we're being asked to do right now. Let's look at the next two cards that we threw down. We'll get some more clarifiers. So the next two cards, both in reverse, Page and the Knight of Pentacles. So right off the bat, I'm noticing the progression. There's the Page and then the Knight. It makes me wonder, is this, one person? Are these two people? Because the other part is that Hmm. Because two of the, when I only asked for one of my Akashic Records cards, two fell out. Um, so the Page of Pentacles is the student of matter, the student of the things in the world. This is like a student of manifestation, maybe a student of scholarly learning. A, a student, he's learning about the ways of the world and how to manifest ultimately. Um, when it's in reverse, this card usually means to me that this page kind of thinks he knows a little bit more than he does. He forgets himself. He's the student that like argues with the professor because he feels like his ideas are brilliant and so original, um and doesn't realize and doesn't realize, kind of how arrogant, that's the word I was, how arrogant he is behaving. And so this Page of Pentacles is has this attitude towards learning, almost like forgets that it's forgets to honor the phase that he's in. And I say he, but it could be male or female. It's more just the character on the card. Um, and then and then the Knight of Pentacles is an agent of change, but the Knight of Pentacles is an agent of change that moves very slowly, and because things grow and it takes seasons to mature, and or it takes seasons to mature, months to gestate, things like that. When this Knight is in reverse, it's like things have slowed down to the point where the Knight is stuck. It's really difficult to see the progress, um, and so there's this kind of like heaviness to it, a heaviness or abandonment of it. It's like um, the his attitude. Well, first of all, the change seems to no longer be happening, and the Knight can become very heavy-hearted about this, or depressed, or you understand. So let's find out a little bit more. First of all, are these two people, or is this one? Spirit, can you tell us? Are these two? The Knight, the King, oh, the Moon. Oh, that's too many cards. Well, okay. Hold on, because I just got a hit. And my... Okay. The three cards that are coming out, I got it. And one of them is the Tower, so I got to take it. But my hit here is that we are both. We are the Page. We are in this process of learning, and we're in a process of learning where change in a situation where change is occurring slowly, and the change is slowed down to a stop, and but part of that is because of our own arrogance, we stopped learning. One of the other markers of any page really is curiosity. The ideal student is full of curiosity, a willingness to learn. And so this page in reverse is reminding us that, or asking, where's your willingness here? Where's your curiosity? And call it back. It's time to call it back. And that's necessary in order for this process to begin moving again. Beautiful. Okay, so when I asked that clarifying card, when I asked for clarification on these two cards, the ones that came up were the Tower, um, paradigm shift, major. Again, we've been talking about these paradigm shifts, right? Like the third truth entering and changing our perspective in general. So there's a major paradigm shift occurring, which means that we are going to lose, which means that we are evolving out of an old skin. We're shedding a skin. And for some people, that can be experienced as a loss. However, it would be a mistake to see this that way. This is a very positive tower. And if you can get on board with that, this this process, it's getting on board with that idea will really empower you in this process. And um, so so first of all, remembering that like anything that this tower seems to take away is dead skin anyway. It's dead. It's, I mean, if you want to keep wearing it, it's just gonna get flaky. It's kind of like when you get a tan and then it starts to peel and you're like, no, and you don't want to like, you want to hold on to the tan. Oh, right. And so, and it's like, but do you really want to walk around with all that flaky skin? You know what I mean? It's like, okay, that you had your tan. That's really fun. Great. Now let the, get that loofah out. Like, get rid of the skin that's dead. Okay. We like a tan because it makes us feel alive and healthy and sun kissed and ooh, Um, but when we look down and it's just like peely, dry skin, that doesn't feel alive and sun kissed, right? That feels the opposite of that. So let this tower like get that loofah out. Like let yourself shed that dead skin. It's it's not actually what you're after. All right. Next card we have the Eight of Pentacles, which this deck shows as a little bee busy at work. And this is really the Eight of Pentacles is the worker bee, right? He's the apprentice, and he's really focusing on learning his new skill. So this tower is saying, shed that skin, shed that arrogance, shed whatever it is that is kind of blocking you from or holding you back from your curiosity and your inquisitive nature, and get back to studies, get back to learning, get back to your learning, because when you start learning, things will move forward. The other thing here is the Two of Swords. That's the third clarifier that popped out. And what this says to me is that it's asking us to go back. First of all, it's asking us to go back to those first two cards, but it's also saying, or it's like a bridge between the two, but it's also saying here like that the ideas that we're having, that the thoughts and the beliefs that were here, so we have the Three of Swords here, and I said there was an introduction of a third truth that was just like piercing the heart, and so the Two Swords, you see how the Two of Swords look just like, look just like the two that are featured there. See that? The truths and the beliefs that we've built that we've hung our heart on, or yeah, that we're holding on to, or that we hold to be true, I don't know, are actually blocking our heart. The original or the traditional depiction of the Two of Swords is a woman who sits on a bench that she, her posturing and her positioning looks a lot like the High Priestess card. And she sits and she holds her two swords like this. And in that depiction, first of all, the High Priestess is about this like knowing, this knowing. And so it calls your attention to this knowing, this deep knowing from within. But then this here, which is not part of High Priestess, but this here says blocked. And what's blocking is the heart chakra. And so, in other words, it's like the Two of Swords is this energy of beliefs, these truths to go right or wrong, these choices that we think, the black and the white, are actually blocking our knowing of our heart. And our heart is what will guide us to our next step. Our heart our heart knows the answer. Our heart understands the choice. And so really with the Page of Pentacles and the Knight of Pentacles in reverse, we're being reminded that all of our studying and our arrogance and our focus on what we're doing and where we're going in this world have taken our attention away from our heart. It's almost like we've begun to run on autopilot, maybe, and Spirit is asking us to bring our consciousness back to what is my heart saying? What does my heart want? There is a higher truth here that I am ready to receive, that I am ready. It's not just receive though. We have to receive it first, but there's a higher truth that I'm ready to live by. Okay, let's wrap it up because I feel like we're getting some really good information here. Whew. All right, so Spirit, we're going to wrap this up. Are there any closing words? Is there anything that I didn't touch on that you want people who watch this video that you want to share with them? Is there anything else that needs to be communicated? Well, I guess Ace of Swords in reverse, truth. But to have this card come up in reverse suggests that, like, there's a distorted truth out there. So yeah, again, it's like what you believe is true isn't necessarily true. It's not saying this is not Spirit is letting you know, be open to this. Look for, it's almost like, look for the signs. Look for the signs. There's something that you believe to be true that isn't. And the other thing is that anything that, whatever the situation is that's really like piercing you right now, whatever the situation is that you're struggling, that you feel that your beliefs or your core values, or that those things are being challenged here, I guess it seems like Spirit's just saying that it's not true. Your truth is not the truth. Okay, anything else? Anything else, Spirit? Anything else? Okay, I think. Ooh. Oh boy. Okay. Whew. That's a lot. Basically, yeah, you're ready to transform. We've got the Nine of Swords here. We've got the Death card, we've got the Ten of Wands, and we've got the Knight of Cups, and they're all showing up to say that um, there are things that you believe you should be doing, that things should be this way, and there is more energy coming to you that is going to there's more energy that's coming into you. A message, an offer, an emotional one. It might come, it's coming in reverse. And so it might be like a little passive aggressive or like dancing around. In other words, this night is not going to come and say, I love you. This night is going to come and ask for love. This night is going to come and ask for love. And sometimes when we ask for love, it's not like, could you please give me a hug? It's like, you're a jerk. But they're saying, you're a jerk, because what they really want is for you to say, I'm sorry, I love you. You see what I'm saying? It's a call for love. And there are burdens that it's time to put down. And this person is really struggling. Yeah. Oops, there we go. Nine of Swords. This person is really struggling. They're ready to let something go. They don't know how. It's time. It's time for both of you. It's time for both of you. It's time for both of you to maybe put down your positions and just say, what if? What if there is more to this truth or belief than I currently understand? What if this were possible or that were possible? What if? And then my favorite thing is, I am willing to let this go. I am willing to see this differently. I am willing to learn. I'm willing to move forward. That doesn't mean you have to, this doesn't mean give in or make someone else right or anything like that. It's just saying, if you're feeling stuck right now, that these cards are definitely not saying to do something to unstick yourself. They're saying, if you feel stuck right now, why don't you go back to the student mindset, become curious, and ask, what is it that I'm learning here? What is the truth? What is my purpose? What is my goal? And perhaps there's something else happening behind the scenes. Perhaps there is a greater purpose for all of these things that are happening. Perhaps there's something that I'm not aware of. I'm willing to see this differently. All right, everyone, thank you. And we'll be back again with another one.